guys, this is Charlie from Charlie's Awesome World of Adventures, and welcome back to Alien Week. Last time we took a look at Alien 3, which I consider to be the weakest one we looked at so far. Not a bad film, but I consider that one to be very boring and very, very slow paced. So I was hoping with Alien Resurrections that it would improve. I mean, it sounds like it's got an interesting concept. I mean, what was it again? Yes, people decide to clone Ripley as a human alien hybrid and then have her fight more aliens. Yeah, in case you can't tell from the tone of voice, I am not a huge fan of this idea. Now, I wasn't the biggest fan of Ripley's death in the third film, but I do understand why they did it. I felt like Ripley had a good arc through all three of these films. And I don't think we did her on another adventure. I think it was a good idea to kill her off. It could have been handled a lot better in the third film than it was. But I did like that they tried to give her a conclusion, which this film completely ruined. Sigourney Weaver is still doing a great performance, don't get me wrong, but Ripley feels so unnecessary, especially when I kind of forget she's even in the film, and because of how little her scenes matter to the film. You're gonna hear me say this quite a bit throughout this review, but it's noticeable that this is that the creators didn't really want to make, yet executives wanted them to make, and that's definitely noticeable with how they brought Ripley back. We're also introduced to a new character who's kind of like the sort of protagonist of the feature, Cal, and she's fine, I guess. I like the relationship between her and Ripley, despite how little it was, and how it kind of felt. I like the relationship between Ripley and Mute in the second film. But I am not a huge fan of the twist of her being an android. It honestly felt quite unnecessary. And I feel like they were just us trying to recreate the shock of Ash being an android in the first film. Only this time, this android's good and trying to help the heroes. Yeah, safe to say I was not huge on that. And man, what's it with these equal not having some great side characters? I mean, the ones in Aliens were fine, but nothing notable. Oh, then you got Alien 3, which I did not care for any of them at all. Oh, but these guys in Resurrections are just annoying. They're trying to capture the banter the crew had in the first film, but they are not the crew of the first film, which honestly makes it even worse. Also, so remember how I said that Alien 3 it was boring? Well, I'm happy for you to say that Resurrections was not as boring as Alien 3. It was even more boring. I'll admit, one thing that this film does improve over its predecessor is the pacing. There are times where it dragged, but it wasn't like where I had to like the last one where I did have to constantly check the running time. I'm to see how long there was left in the film. I did have to take breaks during this film, unlike the previous ones. But that's as due to the pacing in the film for eating a bit too much, and more of the time I decided to watch it. But even if the pacing's better, the film still does drag on with its story. It honestly feels like a basic story you get for an alien film now. In fact, it's honestly kind of forget as that it's trying to be an Alien film. This is why I said before that it's noticeable that the executives wanted this film to have more than the crew making it, because it feels like they were trying to recreate elements of the first R2 film, but fails, especially with the horror. I'll admit there are times where it can be freaky, and aware of a few effective jump scares. But the horror in this film was not good. But if I can get into some positives, the action, like the third film, is still pretty good. I did not care much for the horror, but I do think that the action was still pretty good. And I like how they kept one of the visual strengths of the third film, of how they constantly rotated the camera to get into the thrill of the action scenes. They don't do this as much as they do in 3, but it was enough to get me pretty invested. So yeah, Alien Resurrections feels like a film more that the executives wanted to happen more than the crew involved. There are some decent things about it, like some okay performances. It isn't good action, but everything else, from the story to the character to even the horror, feel like they were trying to capture the feel of the original, but not actually being in the original. And easily offers the worst film in the franchise. If you're someone that out watches all the Alien films, then I recommend to watch this at least once to say you saw it. But don't go expecting too much out of it. This is a film I rarely see people talk about, and after watching it for myself, I can easily see why. Maybe it's not the worst horror film out there, but it's definitely one of my least favourite horror movie sequels, and that's why I'm giving the film a 4.5 out of 10. And will things get better for or Alien Prometheus? Oh, I'm sorry, just Prometheus, because they decided to remove Alien from the title for some reason. We'll just have to wait and see. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!